Hello, hello everyone. London time. Yeah. How is everyone doing? Hey, Dolly, no. Go. Oh my God, here we go again. It's just okay. Hold on, guys. I need some. Dolly, go. No. Why do you always do it when I start streaming? Hold on. No. Go. Out, both of you. Go. Out. Naughty. Naughty. Go. I'm never angry with them, but this is just getting out of hand. Okay, well, anyway, let's get into it because we're missing valid information. Casey, emitter, you're here again. Woohoo! Yeah, we're building our model. Casey, what are your thoughts on the government shutdown considering the market? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, right? It's crazy because you would think government shutdown, we're going down, it's crazy. But, think about this. Okay, I'm going to throw you out, both of you. Hey, no, leave me, go away. You're going to be around this area. It's also, I heard another point of view that I actually didn't consider, like all those layoffs, eventually, the point of view was it actually is going to save the US taxpayers a lot of money because there were a lot of people in positions already that were actually not doing a lot, and without getting political, they actually want to get rid of a lot of these jobs and clean up the whole system. So, and actually that makes sort of sense. Like maybe analysts, they see that it's actually a win for in the long term. So that's why maybe they didn't bring the market down. But then on the other hand, we were already in this. I'm really wondering sometimes if news really does how it affects the market, and sometimes you get a delayed reaction. So we still have to be careful, I guess. But you can see it's creating equal highs again. So, we might get a drop down, but we're not done yet. You know, but yeah, so it's maybe a positive thing, the whole government shutdown, as analysts see it, because now finally they can clean up the organization wise. So that's how I see it, and I think it does make sense in a way because there was maybe too much government control anyway. So yeah, but we're here. We have to deal with it, and we have to trade accordingly. Now we need to get into, before we get into anything else. My 152.10. I'm trying to build a model around it, so I do really want to get a look at the. I graded, or I noticed in the previous examples that I gave that it used the first presented fair value gap of the New York PM session, so I added that one here. So that's the green one. I just wanted to see if it's. Let me go back to the 1 minute here. Let me see. Blue lines are Asia high, Asia low, and midnight here indicated. I cleaned my charts, so I'm listening to you guys. I'm listening, so all the feedback is welcome. Here we go, and then 210. Let's see. Now, because we had a large move yesterday, right? It could be, and it's Thursday. I have to be this is the day, the Thursday of the NFP week is statistically my worst day always in the month. So I'm always very careful now with trading because it's the one day before NFP, right? But then again, we have a very weird NFP. I just don't. It's a little bit of a weird week because it's also mixed week, half September and beginning of October. So, but I'm very careful with this week or this day specifically. So let me just double check the news. What do we have? Yeah. So we don't have anything in London, but we do have. They made it tentative. So the normal news on Thursday in NFP week is the unemployment claims and factory orders, but now it's all tentative, I guess, because of the shutdown, right? What I do is I just tend to calculate, and in this case I just only use the bodies, and I use a Fibonacci. Let me just there you go, 2.5. And 4 is here, so 4 is about 25 to 24-ish. It is a little bit difficult when you are in all-time highs, right? So you have to be a little bit careful. But that's what you can do. You can use the loss manipulation rule. I'll leave it on here for now. And there's some other things we can use, but we'll get into that. Now again, you see it just tapped again in those Asia highs. It got break it. Interesting. Interesting. If I lose internet, guys, we have a sort of storm here. If you don't see me at some point, it's because of the there's excessively high winds. So if you lose me, it's just because the internet, and if I don't respond, it's just that's the reason. So yeah, guys, what's your opinion of the market now? What are you thinking? Okay, we're at midnight right now. We did not take out Asia highs. We just tapped into it during a macro. So we don't have any. We don't have the first percentage fair value gap of the afternoon nearby, right? That's all the way down. So I was thinking, what if it goes all the way down and it goes find that level maybe in this area, in this time zone? I don't know. So as you see, I graded the suspension, but I graded both of them. Not sure if that's the way to go forward. But I wonder again, like yesterday, we saw a few times it reversed or it went back up from there. Or are we, because we rejected here at the Asia highs? Or did I grade it incorrectly? You need to go a little bit higher, my love. Here we go. Are we going to go down? You know, I see those suspension blocks everywhere now. I'm like, oh my god, well, which one should I take, right? I see them here as well. They maybe they should have like something, like it's an if-then thing, like they need a fair value gap or something in next to it or something like that, right? So, okay. So we might have a continuation now. Now, I want to point out something here. The daily open is exactly on the same level as at the settlement price. So that's a very strong, if you see that, like you see my red line here, the dotted line, you can put that on in TradingView. It's just previous day close. And if that is the same as the daily open, well, obviously daily open is always a strong liquidity point, but if you see those two together, it's a magnet at some point. So and it's near Asia lows as well. So this is going to be, I think this Q10 macro is going to be a continuation to the downside. I'm not taking it because I'm just not, I don't have a, it's like you said, TJ, it's consolidating and it might get out of that range. 11:30 candle, that might be a rejection block. So it might just reject from that wick. Let's see. I might go for a paper trade short just to warm up. I need to warm up a little bit. 25.36. So for the 152.10 macro, the 2 a.m. move that I'm calling it. So when it's hanging around one of the first presented fair value gaps, and it's hanging around during the macro, it sort of like invalidates the move, right? Because it just tells us it's in consolidation still within the macro. And last week's examples were all with the same first presented of the afternoon session. So that's the one that is formed between 1:30 in the New York PM session and 2 o'clock. But now what I'm seeing is we also have the first presented fair value gap that I use that's after midnight, right? Now you see the midnight is right over here. Now let's see if it's the same situation. Maybe because I'm still building a model around that. I'm still working on that. So going back to the 1, and let's see what the first presented fair value gap. I'm going to get rid of this suspension thing because we don't know what it's doing. Now let's see if my logic makes sense, right? If it's again, maybe it's any first presented fair value gap, and it doesn't have to be the one of the afternoon, because all the examples from last week and a little bit ago back were all around that 1. So I thought, oh, it's mostly that 1. But now let's have a look, because I think it's sort of like this is the one that was formed around midnight, and look, so we can see. Oh no, we cannot use the first one. Here we go. We go in, and here we are in consolidation, but here we are not. So we are not. Okay. So let's see if we get a move to the downside. I'm gonna take a short. It's a paper trade, guys. And I do that because if I'm in a trade, I tend to journal it better. So I'm okay to have a loss. Don't copy trade me. We're below midnight. Okay, my logic is we're below midnight. We have a body below the close below that first presented fair value gap. Even though we're going up a little bit, you see all these bodies are closing. We created equal highs in this macro. Now, when equal highs are created, do we take them out very quickly? So, from my journaling, what I have noticed, if we create equal highs, most of the times it will take 1 or more hours before it takes them out. Sometimes it's instant, but most of the times it doesn't create them to take them out very quickly. So that's also one of my motivations. So what time did this form? This formed at 2 o'clock exactly, okay. 2:21. So my logic was midnight is here, we went above it, we went below it, then above it, we retested it, and went below, we didn't take out Asia, and now we're below it, and we are below this first presented fair value gap. So I'm using this one. So that means the first one that is formed after midnight, that is this one. I use a lot of them, guys. I use the midnight first presented. I use the Asia, the London, the PM session, and the AM session, and even the daily open session. And there's also a weekly session. They're fractal. Um, but you see, price is very slow. I don't like to be in a trade on my other account when it's like this, to be honest, because it's just, slow. It's lethargic. It just doesn't run. We are in this one here now. It needs to break this, right? Let's see if this is support. Okay, and again, I just want to point out something, guys, and I'm going to change my why. I've talked about that on this channel. Flat bottom, I didn't see that before, and a wick. You know what that means, right? I'm sure this is it's gonna wick into this area here and then reject. So if you see a flat bottom, wick, very important marks. I'm going to go to the 5 just to check if we have it on the 5 minute as well. Not really, but on the 1 minute we do. So that's the reason for me to really lower, to take my GP up a little bit, because if it wicks into here, it doesn't go further than. This is a very strong algorithmic signature, extremely strong. And also here there are a few flat bodies. So yeah, I've got more confidence in this trade now. But I've raised my my take profit because this could be just the end of the run down because of this. This is just lack of manipulation. So if you see a flat bar, and especially on the higher time frame it is, the stronger obviously um, the power of it. But even on the one, sometimes it's very strong, and especially when you have a combination of these, like here. Oh, look at the 3 minute. Hoo-ha. And it's also in the fair value gap here. Is there a suspension nearby? Let's have a look. I'm looking for those bloody things everywhere now. Don't know about you guys, but I'm in suspension mode. I don't see any nearby. Oh. Oh, here's one, but we wanted to go lower. Anyway, okay. See, now this is acting as support, right? So it just doesn't want to go through it. So are we going to take this out first and then go low, or are we going to? Because technically, if it's going into here, it's still in the consolidation range, right? We're above midnight again. No body close over midnight, but we're touching it. Still no body close. I need to have a quick bite of my sandwich. Mm. So this FVG, IFVG is working pretty well. $2.30. What am I missing? So let's see if it's going to take this out at 3 o'clock, because it created this other high at 2 o'clock, right? 201 is 3. Let's see if it takes it out at 3 o'clock exactly. I don't have time to eat. So I'm doing it on stream. Sorry, guys. Beautiful, huh? For this one. I'm not interested in trading this area. I don't know about you guys, but hovering very close to Asia highs. We're just futzing around midnight, going back and forth, back and forth. Um, so it's really, it's just I think a little bit of a gamble now to trade. So we just really have to wait for manipulation rule. And you also have to remember, we had a large run yesterday, so it might, be inside day, maybe just a little sweep to the top and then go back into the range and maybe consolidate the rest of the day, or just, putz around. Because we have a beautiful range to the downside, which we still need to balance out a few imbalances there. Because it didn't do it yesterday, right? It almost went just it went quite just up, up, up. Let me just have a look, and we're gonna see if my cats are okay because there's so much wind. I don't want it to blow away. Darling, yeah, not again. Otherwise, you go out. Now let's see. We're going down now. What was my TP? 46. 47. Let's see if it goes to that level and reject and then go up or something like that. That might be a better long instead of a short. So I will so this area here because of this flat, the flat. Once it breaks Asia highs, it will be. I think we will get better price action, but it really needs to go to either one of them. Either it needs to reject from this area here and then go up, or just go back up and then breaks the Asia highs, right? But then again, we're in price discovery. Then we have to figure out, are we, then we just have to take a long until the market tells us, now I'm ready to go down now. So we don't want to predict the highs. We just trade it as until we get enough information that the tide has turned, right? But let's see. I'm still bearish for this short term. So I'm looking into this area here. Let's see that what happened. I want to see what happens here in this little area. But because of this black bottom and a wick, I would be really surprised if one day ICT comes with something that is something that he uses, but he never spoke about. That would be I would think. I mean, I would find really cool that I saw it and because no one ever talks about this. But you'll see if you start noticing these and mark them, especially on the higher time frame, you'll see you'll be really able to predict where the market is going, or at least for that session for that short term, because um, you will definitely see and most of the time it's not a body, it's a wick, because this needs manipulation. It's a delayed manipulation move because it's a lag of manipulation. And here is one more, and let's see, here we have, okay, this one has already manipulation, because you see here as well, like here you see another one, right? And you see this wick just going into this wick next to it, right? But it's just, we have to measure that. Then you measure this one, the low, 25051, the low 25051.25. So this wick took this one out by 1 tick. No, Dolly, come on. You know why my cats are like this now? Because of the weather, and they hardly play outside now because the weather. So they have too much energy right now. So they're sort of like really bored. So they're outside of. Do you mean we react to the manipulation candle? No. What I mean is, you see this candle has no manipulation. So you see the blue candle here? It has a flat bottom. And so it's a lack of manipulation. You don't have a wick on the bottom. But next to it is a long wick, which is a possible rejection block. So what I've noticed from my journaling, and this all comes from journaling, guys, I started noticing this when I saw a flat bottom with a long wick, and I use the long wicks all the time, even without those flat bottoms, for potential rejection blocks. I always grade them, quarter, 1/3, and to see if price action reacts from them. Because a long wick isn't liquidity instantly, it becomes a rejection block. So price action, that's seek and destroy. Right? We go up and down, and that happens. That's why you have those long wicks. But a wick is a potential rejection block before it becomes liquidity. So, but if you see this combination here, what you will see a lot of the time is that a wick, it is sort of like, it is an extended wick, a wick that is, it doesn't have to be in the same candle. So you always see, like for example here, you see this one went with one tick just below this candle here. And when you see this combination here, that is a magnet. And especially if you see them on the 15 or on the 4 hour, you mark those areas and you grade them. And you always see, most of the times, it's a wick. So if you have a higher manipulation move, for example, when the 930 opens, and if you see one of those wicks nearby, think about, okay, if we have a manipulation move to the downside, there's a high probability that it goes into this, just below here, and into this possible rejection block. But you will see that there will be no body most of the time below this flat bottom. It will be a wick. So that also gives you some information, like for example, if you use the 1 hour candle, I use the 4 o'clock candle a lot, and the 10 o'clock, and I want to get into the manipulation move of that candle. So if I see information like that, that gives me a lot of information where I could enter, because I'm like, okay, if we would go to the downside, for example, and it's going to be a bullish candle, I know the manipulation move will most likely, the wick of that 4 o'clock or 10 o'clock candle will form itself here, and then it goes back up, right? So it is a combination of the flat bottom with a long wick next to it. It means this is lack of manipulation, so the wick will come afterwards at some point. So this one is untouched. We don't have anything yet. So this one is still a point of interest. Now it's a 1 minute, so it's not as strong as a 5 or a 15 minute, but it's all fractal, right? Now you have a flat bottom here, but you see there is no wick. The wick starts, the body is already higher than it's exactly that. You need a wick next to it. The body, you don't want the body to be lower than the previous body. So this is a perfect scenario here. Now let's see, we're gonna catch the let me see if I can find a good example. I mean, if you go into your charts, TJ, I mean, this is really, I think this is a gem. I mean, I'm really, this flat bottom with a long wick, look into your charts and see if you can spot them, and look at them on the 15 minute and on the 1 hour and 4 hour, and see if you can spot them and how price, and what you see, how price reacts to them. It will give you a lot of information. You'll thank me later. Like sometimes when you start journaling and you start seeing things and you start, you happen to see one thing in one, you know, you have to see it like a couple of times, and then, and preferably before you start noticing things, like in one chart, for example, hey, that's weird. And then you start really looking into it, and then you really are like, oh my God, I'm onto something. Yeah, I mean, it's really massive. I mean, if you really start seeing it, and especially the ones on the higher time frame, listen, you'll be able to really, you know, sometimes really TJ, but it's not such a strong, but it's still strong enough because the wick is very small. Oh, we've got the 252 macro now. No, the 250 macro. 247. Are we going to get it now? Continuation down. They know now. Now let's see if this inversion is going to break. We need to go through it and then retest, and it's reclaimed. TJ, were you the one that asked me about the inversion fair value gap? I can't remember. Yeah, did you see ICT's video or one of his videos that it was actually one of the number one or the number two that he did, and he actually went over the inversion and the reclaimed fair value gap. So I was confusing the reclaimed fair value gap with the inversion. So it was so remember when we spoke about it, when I said you have to have a when you have a passing through, you need a passing through 1, 2, 3, and then it becomes an inversion. But that was a reclaimed fair value gap, not an inversion. This is an inversion, right? It's insta. It's like you have one move down and then it passes back there. So this is an inversion right now. And when it goes through it, you need like 2 moves after it to go through it. Then it's retested and then it's reclaimed. So that was my confusion. I was like, oh, so the inversion is quite simple. And BPR here. So now it's sort of like difficult to read now, right? Because you have all these sort of like BPRs here, BPR inversion. Now one of them needs to break. Hmm. I was confused with I mixed them up. I never actually I heard about the reclaim, but I never really gave it attention. But I thought at some point um I had it written down somewhere about the going back and forth and inversion and I'm like, okay, but yeah, he touched on it. So and you see how the inversion really works here, right? It now it's really being supportive here of this bisection. But then again, we didn't, well, okay, we did take out this phi. When a macro again and again, it's not doing much. Like yesterday, when I stopped the stream, I went away and then I got back, and then the big move was after the stream, right? I guess that's like if you watch the charts for 2, 3 hours and nothing happens, there's always a move after a certain time. But at some point, you just need to you need to do your things, right? But then that happens. Okay, let's see which one is going to break. What do you guys think? To the downside, or are we going to break up to the upside? No one wants to trade this, right? I mean, you guys are not really having FOMO or something, right, with this price action, I hope. Now let's see. Is this now going to break finally? Yes. So now what's this area here? Three past three. Good time to do it. But it has to do it in 15 seconds. There we go. Come on. Another 2 minutes. Or he's gonna make another high.
I think we're gonna break the highs now. We can 306. We did it. We broke the highs. Hallelujah. Okay. Finally. So this is really a strong. This really worked as a support now. Let me see. We have a S&T with the ES. Why are you giving me a hard time? What did ES do? Did we check out that? Hmm. So ES didn't take out the high, but I'm always a little careful when I look at the 15. I need the hour, the 15-minute to close, because ES could still catch up, right? But it looks like a nice sweep. Is it a nice short? Yes. Yeah, ES still could. It doesn't look like it's going. It's sort of like really. Let's wait till 15 minutes past 3 to see how ES is behaving, because it still could catch up.
It looks like the NQ is also continuing, right? So they're both going to go into price discovery now. Here we are again. This makes me happy, to be honest, that we are doing so well on the market. But this is still point of interest later on. Two and a half is 91. 91, 90, yeah, I think you could run to 91-ish, 90. 25.90. Let me see. Should I put on a paper trade? I'm gonna put on a paper trade. I don't feel like using my we're at the end of the macro though. It might not be too handy. 91. I'm using this wick. I just think it might just spike up a little bit. Because you know it always does it when we go into price discovery. It always goes 10 or 20, sometimes 15 points. Maybe I'm a little bit too high now, but just want to see if it does it. Because I journal them I told you that, right? When I go to a paper trade, I do that for a reason. Yeah, I'm okay to be stopped. It's a break-even trade. I'm okay to be stopped out. Just trying something. It's outside macro, but because we're all-time highs, what it does normally, it always goes, normally it's 15 points, 10 to 15 points, but this is a little bit higher, so I'm just going to try out. Let me just lower it a little bit. I'm saying it, so I shouldn't. So sometimes you can extend the macro with 5 minutes. So when you have a run like this, and it's running, it's okay to add a couple of minutes. So it's okay to let it run till 15 after. Where's my color? There we go. I'm gonna show my stop a little bit more aggressive because I don't think it's gonna go down. Oh, where's my stop? Oh well, never mind. I said 91-ish, but I just lower it down to 15 points because most of the times when we are when we just go over a new high and we're in price discovery mode, see, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna stop it here. 15 points. Hey, come on, go up. Why are you not going? Okay, well, you know I wanted to go out, right? Come on. What are you doing? Is my internet down? Okay, well. Am I still on? Oh, here we go. Okay, my paper tray is not working anymore. But you get the point, right? So my journaling, what I notice is sometimes it just always goes over. It doesn't really sweep. It always goes a little bit higher. Yeah, I couldn't get out of my trade, but it's okay. I'll just set it up. So my target was 91, but then I'm like, oh no, my journaling always says 15 points. You failed to modify stop loss. It's okay, just take me out. Come on. You see, it just didn't take me out on 86. And where did we? 76. Oh, 90 is still 15 points. Okay, so okay, I should be okay. I can't get out of the trade, but it's a paper trade. It's okay. Just let it go. But yeah, also just look into that because we never just, when we go into price discovery, like this is now 76 to, okay, so this is 20 points. Okay, this is 20 points. So I was a little bit high with my 90. So I always add like another 15 points normally, well, in this case 20 was fine. Um, and you see how we are now at 15 past 3. So when it's a macro, you can actually extend the macros to actually it can be quarter 2 to quarter after, but that depends on if you see something. Um, for example, if you see a retest of a specific level and it's a little bit earlier than the macro, you can already include it in the macro, even though it's outside macro time and technically it's still you can take it in. Um, so especially when you see a run here, right, where you see like a big candle and it's almost 10 past and you know, okay, we're going to take a high. You can almost safely extend it with a couple of minutes. Not always, but in this situation, yeah. I'm also not, the reason why I'm also not trading my live account or my evaluations because of the weather here. Because it's a lot of wind and I'm really sort of like, thinking like, it's a miracle that the internet hasn't gone down yet. So that's also one of the, even though you had to stop, I put a stop in, but what happens if I put in the stop and it just goes out while I'm putting in the stop or it just doesn't take it? So I'm sort of like really, it happened to me. Um, and there was no way I could get out. So, it's really crazy weather. So that's also one of the reasons I'm like, okay, just be careful. Um, and you want to bet long? Oh, still going higher, right? Yeah. Well, we still didn't have any nothing on the 2 a.m. move today. I mean, it's sort of like I'm a little bit disappointed because I guess it was just maybe a coincidence that last week gave so many opportunities. It was really all the time. It was an accumulation or a manipulation, not it was a continuation or a manipulation move very clearly. Um, But now it's just, I guess, didn't really provide a lot of information or a very interesting move, right? But hey, there'll be a model, the 2 a.m. model. But then all models, you know, some models, they don't work. I mean, they never work all the time. So it's just a matter of, I want a model around every time in London, like one specifically between, let's say 2 and 3. Maybe I should, maybe it shouldn't be all about the one macro. Maybe it should be a complete combination, right? Because this macro, if you think about it, now if I look at it a little bit more into depth, I'm like, but this actually set the stage for this macro, right? If you think about it now, like what I said, I did say, like if it creates an equal high, it doesn't take it out straight away. It takes most of the time at least an hour. And look here, what happened, right? So we created another high. So we have, well, 1, 2, 3 highs. Well, this one is technically taken out. Let's say 2 highs. And then you have this little thing here in the middle that was also like a very good signature. And then we took out, we went here, we went up, and then we took it out in the next macro, the 253.10 macro, right? So if you see this happen, this actually did set the stage for the next macro to take it out. So I knew I had to wait longer for this to be taken out, but I thought, okay, maybe it could go down first and then go up, but it did not. So I don't know, it's still interesting to maybe, because also if you time these things, because a macro does only, so what we say, like in macros, the market either seeks liquidity or it balances out imbalances, right? Now, what did this macro actually do? Look here. This is an imbalance. This is lack of manipulation, right? Within this macro, it balanced out this area here. Didn't take out. Technically, it went into this rejection block here, but it did create a little. It did its work. It took out an imbalance here. Went down, and in the next macro, it took out this one. So it still did its job, I guess, to see it that way. Yeah, it's still these flat bottoms. They always have a function. The body is higher here though. 112. It balanced out this imbalance here. You see these wicks came here on this one. Then we go a little bit higher into this one. And then with this inversion, which was acting as support clearly here, but now this gets confusing, right? Because it goes below it. And then you're like, oh no, we're going down now, but then it does not. That's the manipulation, I guess. That catches you off guard. But hey, we've got equal lows again here. Now we're going down. We're done. Is it 3:30 already? Almost. You see on the 5 minute, you can see very clearly, right? Here, beautiful. You see those flat tops. You see the wick here, the 110. So that creates this imbalance in that macro. Then we have in this macro creates another flat bottom, but the next candle takes it out again, plus one. Yeah. might take a long, again, paper. You have a breaker here on the 30 seconds. I'm going to stop below the breaker and then I will go for 94-ish, but I will do it here. Yeah, it's a good thing that I'm not. Stopped out. Yeah. It doesn't make sense over this straight, to be honest, if I look at it. It's stupid what I just did because we have SMT with ES. Remember, I said that NQ took out the high and ES didn't, so there is SMT. So now let's see if this is going to be a rejection. I won't go into a trade now because it's too unclear for me, to be honest. Suspension block, first presented fair value gap is now acting as support. Retest of midnight, beautiful. That was a beautiful entry. 336, right up to 340. Playing time. In this case, I would have entered here, and then I would just only play time. I'm not in that trade, but because it's a retest of this midnight and also ICT's new suspension block, and I see it on the 5 minute within this first presented. So you have a clear retest area. The first trade was stupid of mine that I just took, but so any retest, right? Retest of a breaker, retest of specific areas, like also time-based areas. But now we have this new suspension block as well that is apparently functioning as a area of resistance. So now in combination with the first presented, which I already had on the chart, I'm like, okay, now it's really a nice area, and you see how this gives this beautiful width into it. Bye, TJ. Nice to see you again. See you next time. Yeah, we're gonna go after, I think after this run, I'm also going to kill the stream and then come back later on. Maybe I shouldn't say that, kill the stream. That sounds a little bit weird. Stop the stream. But, so once you have the 313 moves that starts running, I would just get out of the trade now if I would be in the trade because it's 340. That's how I sometimes trade. I use time. Just because it doesn't run any further, it might run, but if I see exactly, so if I see it come close to 340, and we're sort of like getting into, you see one of those wicks in the candle going a little bit further down, I would have already gotten out in this candle, just because it's just, you know, it's a good move, right? If you see this move here from here, you get in, you know, you just market order in because you trust the, you know, it's created a equal high. We're in 320 to 340. You can consider it a sort of a macro, right? It's most of the time continuation moves. So that in that case, it will be just a time-based trade for me, but it just matches with a setup because it's a retest of a very specific area, and you can see it's not done yet, right? Because why? when you're at the top of a range, you always see like a very violent move, and you have a large wick, creates a wick. But if it just keeps on creating equal highs, you can still consider it. We're still bullish because we're not done yet, and there's no change in state of delivery yet. We're still in a bullish move. So in this case, technically we had a little sweep. We're still in that consolidation area, but for me, I consider it bullish until I really get, confirmation that we really have to go down with these two levels are for me key to start being a little bit bearish. If we don't do that, and if I see a retest like this, I'm still bullish as hell, and then I would just trade it. But this was just a time-based trade from 335. Normally, yeah. So I would just get out when it turns 340ish. Maybe even 1 or 2 minutes earlier, you get one of these. You can sit through them, but it's not worth it, right? Because it's a short trade. You get in here and you want to get out. You just take your money and run because it takes liquidity here. Boom. But it's not. You can see it's just not done yet, right? So it might even run to all the way to 4 o'clock or 350. It just stalls a little bit here. This is how it works a lot of the times with these methods. We just had a retest of an area, so I still have this area as a potential, but we don't want to be in a trade. When you have a bad entry, you don't want to be in a trade for that long, and it's sort of like it might not go there until another 20 minutes, right? It's just something you don't want to do. If you got in here and you take one out and you leave a runner, that's okay. But then a runner just for 10 points, I don't know. Okay, it's going to be it for today, for London session, not for today, because obviously we have. Hey, Crypto Bros, how are you? How are you doing, my friend? Are you doing okay? Have you traded this London session? I just wanted to end the stream because we're sort of done. I mean, we had a good. I have a bit of a storm here, so I didn't really create my evaluation or live account because I'm a little bit worried about the weather, and the internet hasn't gone down yet, so I'm still very happy about that. But normally with this weather, we lose the internet, but we're still good here. So yeah, how about you? So I just thought, you know what, this is good enough. We went over some theory and just, some basic stuff. I did a few paper trades. And then also, I don't know if it's the internet, but I cannot even go into my trading view and put a trade on. So I don't know what's going on. So, but I still think we're going higher. I put the trade on here, retest of this area, and then we're going up to this area, I think. But it's going to be slow, it's just going to be really lethargic, not interesting. anyway. But yeah, I'll be back later today. I want to do. I'm just not sure if I want to do the AM session or the PM, lunch PM. I really like the lunch PM session, but I'll see. Anyway. So I'll see you later if that's okay. I need to do some stuff. Let price action do what it needs to do, because it's just, we're in price discovery mode, so I'm really happy about that, to be honest, that we're finally at all-time highs again, and I'm looking forward to some more tape reading later today. So I hope to see you later on again, and we'll all hang out again together. Now stay safe, don't do anything weird, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you again for hanging out and supporting me. I appreciate it. See you later. Bye-bye.